Let me talk with you for a few minutes about finding joy in writing. I find it interesting that whenever people find out what I do for a living, they always respond in the same way, which is to tell me how terrible a writer they are and how little confidence they have in themselves as a writer. And I think the same experience is what I hear from my students. So they tell me about how their past experience has been terrible. I often talk about or start the conversation at the beginning of each semester by saying, I bet I can describe for you what your experience has been with writing in high school. And so I say, you probably spend most of your time trying to guess what it is the teacher wants so you can give it to them so you can get what you want, which is the grade. And most students every semester nod their head. Yeah, that pretty much describes the experience. And so students are not writing for their own purposes. They're not decision makers as writers should be. They're writing to make someone else happy. No wonder they don't feel so good about themselves as writers. They have no sense of efficacy or self-confidence in writing. And this is strange given the fact that most professional writers and journalists and those who get their work published uh, experience a lot of joy, apparently. They can be very prolific, can't we? You spend your life in your profession writing. One hopes you get some sense of enjoyment out of it. So um, I have two things to say on that subject of finding joy. I think there's two ways that we find joy in writing. And if we don't figure a way to do this, then writing is always going to be incredibly laborious and unsatisfying. And that's why people all around us, our students and other adults, say, I'm terrible at writing. The first key to finding joy, I think, is at the beginning of the writing process, and that's using writing as a tool of inquiry and discovery. You should be using writing as a way to think about ideas and to organize ideas and to learn something new, to bring order to what you've researched. Um, and I think the second thing is that later on in the process, you will find a way to share what you write, the order and thinking and time you've spent bringing order to ideas, is to get your ideas published. I think those people who stop at the task of writing and producing a piece of writing and don't share it with others robs themselves of the joy that comes from communicating effectively with an audience. That is uh, that is what makes us writers, and that is what brings joy to writing. Thank you.